Okay, then fine. So then now you can see, so if you can write the multiple pages, if you can write the multiple paragraphs, so then it will apply. So same CSS for all the pages, all the paragraphs. Okay, so this type of CSS is called internal CSS. So this is called inline CSS. So this is called inline CSS, and this CSS is called internal CSS. Okay. So this will applicable only for this specific page only. So in our website we are having a multiple, in our website we are having a multiple web pages, multiple web pages. So then if you can write all these things, so for each and every line it will take some time to execute. So again our page performance will decrease. Okay, so then now, so that's why we are choosing type another type called, so then external CSS. So then how we can include the external CSS, we'll see. Okay, so external CSS, how we can include. So here I am writing the CSS, here I am writing the CSS. So this is my page. So this is my page. So then I don't want to write the CSS. So now number of lines also decrease. Execution is decreased. Right? So then now I'm writing the CSS. I'm writing the CSS, creating the new CSS file. So here it is my CSS. I don't need to write. I don't need to write again style tag, because of this CSS is here specifically for style sheet only. Okay. So then whenever you are going to create a CSS file, you can create a new folder called CSS. So then inside of that one, so you can create a file called style.css. Okay, all the CSS files, all the external style sheets, we are going to give the extension called .css. Okay, style.css. Now which we created a external file. So then how we can include that, how we can include the CSS file to our web pages. So now you can see, I don't require this style tag. So just we are having a tag called link. So we are giving the link to style sheet. Okay, so then href or src, href or src, href we have to give href. So then equal to which folder it is having, it is having inside of CSS folder. So then style.css. Okay, so then here rel equal to style sheet, style sheet. Here this is my HTML file. I have included all the types, and it is nothing inside of HTML 34.html. Okay, so then now link is closed, link is closed, then save. Okay, now this 34.html. Now see, our style is our style is applied. So here inside of the external file, for suppose same CSS you want to apply for other pages also, just you can copy this line, just you can copy this line and apply to, and paste it here, and paste it here. Okay, so we don't need to apply, we don't need to write the internal. Okay, now you can see 33.html, right? This apply. Okay, So now the number of lines also decrease. The number of lines also decrease. The number of coding lines decrease. So if our number of lines is decreased, automatically our performance will improve. Our performance will improve. Now our page loads faster. Okay, so that's why, so we are always considering the external CSS file only. So we cannot write the inline or internal. Okay, so now, so in CSS we can include the CSS. We can write the CSS in three ways. First one is the inline. So second one is the internal, and third one is the external CSS. Inline CSS will applicable only for specific HTML element only. Internal CSS, it will only applicable for that specific HTML file only. There is no chance to apply the multiple pages. So that's why we are always considering the external CSS. External CSS External CSS, we can write the CSS, come all the CSS code into one page, and we can save that file as a dot CSS file. So this is the way we can write and we can save it as. So then after writing the external CSS, so we can include that file. We can include that file in our our web page. Okay, so these are the different type of CSS we are having in the CSS. Okay, so next one selectors, coming to selectors. Yes, so what is selector? CSS selectors are used to select any element and then apply the CSS on it, and then apply the CSS on it. Okay, so CSS selectors are used to select any element, then apply the CSS on it. That means, so which element you are going to write the CSS? Which element you are going to write the CSS? We have to choose that element first. Okay, so there is no use to write CSS without knowing the selector. You have to know the selector. Okay, so then these selectors are very useful in writing the clean and effective code. Clean and effective code. So then CSS selectors are used internal and external CSS only. Okay. So why we are going to use for internal and external CSS? Because of inline CSS always we are writing for specific HTML element only. So then no need to apply the internal and external CSS for inline CSS. Okay. So then why? So if you can observe here, if you can observe here, so this one, where is 33? Yes, here it is. So here, so if you can observe here, so font size is 25 and color is red. So we are writing the CSS for inline CSS for this paragraph. We don't need to apply the that selector. So we don't need to apply this selector for inline CSS because we are already written inline CSS. Okay, so CSS selectors will applicable only for internal and external CSS. Okay, although inline CSS also a option, but it is never recommended to use. There are various type of selectors through which you can select an element. Okay, we can use these type of selectors. We can frequently use these type of selectors. First one is the CSS tag selector. So then second one is the CSS ID selector, and third one is the CSS class selector and CSS group selector, and fifth one is CSS universal selector. Okay, so these five type of selectors we are having in CSS. These are the basic selectors you have to know. Okay, so first one is the tag selector. So first one is the tag selector. So here, so we are choosing, for suppose we are writing the CSS for paragraph. Okay, so this is called the tag selector. So this HTML, whenever you are writing the CSS for specific HTML element or element, so you can write that CSS for paragraph or div or unordered list or order list or anchor tag. So that HTML element is called the tag selector. Okay. Now you can see. Now you can see. So I'm writing the style tag here and close style tag here. Okay. Now, so here tag selector is here. So P is the tag selector. Okay, P is the tag selector. So now first suppose if you want to apply the heading, so H1 is the tag selector. H1 is the tag selector. Font size 20 pixel and color is green. Okay, so then here H1 font size 60 pixel and color is orange. Okay, so this type of things is called, so this is called the tag selector. Okay, these two are called the tag selectors. What is our file name? So 34 is not saved. Now see 34.html. Okay, 34.html inline CSS and second heading. Why is this? Yes, it is also a green. Okay, now if we can observe here, so external file also there and internal CSS also there. Okay, internal CSS also there. So what I was said, so it's a cascading rule, it is following cascading rule, it is following. So now here if you can see the external file, so here the paragraph is font size 30 and color is yellow, but here we are written, so font size is 20 pixel and color is gray. Okay, so if you can observe the inspect element here, see this one font size is 20 and color is green. So that means this CSS is applied for that one. Why? Because so it is following the hierarchy. So whatever last property, last styling is there, that will be applicable for the HTML pages. So now, so so now if you can cut this one and paste it after this style, now it is applying the CSS from external file. Now you can see it is changed and it is applied from external CSS, right? It is applied for it is applying CSS from external file. So this is the cascading concept. Okay, and also remember, so whatever and which external file you are going to write the custom CSS, you have to paste, you have to add that CSS file after your default CSS. Okay, so now you are changing the CSS for this external style, so that's why we are written last. Okay, clear? So that is the tag selector. So next one is ID selector. What is ID? So in the attributes, in for each and every HTML element, so we are having the common attributes called title, class, ID, title, class, ID. So we can give these three attributes for all the HTML elements. For all the HTML elements. Okay. Sorry, style tag also we can apply. Okay. So then now, so here ID selector. Class ID selector is used to select a particular element which which is specific ID associated with it. And ID is an element is unique itself. Now two elements have the same ID. It makes the same easy to select a particular element and gives it a proper styling. Okay, so we have to write the if we can give the any identification to the specific HTML, we have to give the unique ID. So ID means identification, right? Identification. So we have to, so each and every person, each and every HTML is having only unique ID. Okay. If we cannot take the same IDs for so multiple HTMLs, we have to take only one unique ID in the web page. Okay, so that means so we can take the multiple IDs with different names, but we have to give the same the unique name of IDs we have to apply. Now see, creating another file, so then alt text and 35.html. Okay, now if we can observe here, so I have a ID equal to heading 1. Okay, heading 1. Now I am writing the CSS for heading 1. So what we are taken here, ID, right? So ID always starts with the hash symbol, then ID name. Okay, ID always starts with the hash symbol and also then ID name. Whatever ID we are giving here, so same ID we are taken, and so tags sorry, selector ID selector always starts with the hash symbol. So then open this block of code, then writing the CSS font size, font size 40 pixel. So then color, color, color blue. Okay, so this CSS I applied, right? So now you can see 35.html. See now for heading, so if you can observe here, so if you can observe here, so heading font size 40 pixel, color blue. Okay, so if you can observe here, so it is displaying the hierarchy, it is displaying the hierarchy. Okay, so H1, so first tag is considering the ID, then after that this one tag selector. First it is taking the preference from if any ID selectors are there for that specific HTML element, then if it is having, it will taken from the ID selector. If we don't have, it will take from the tag selector. Okay, so same as it is a class selector also same thing. So class selector, so we have to define with the class attribute here, and that attribute name, sorry, attribute value. Okay, so now class is the attribute, then that attribute value is my heading. Okay, so then so same CSS we can write it here. Same CSS we can write it here. So it is already there. My heading, so color is orange. My heading color is orange. Now if you can see here, so for ID, so we can choose the, for ID we can choose the hash, and for class selector we can choose the dot symbol. Okay, for class selectors we have to choose the dot symbol, and for id so we can use the hash symbol. Okay, now you can see our second heading, it is applied the orange color, right? See, this is the one. Okay, for suppose, for suppose, so both the IDs, both the classes are having this one. Okay, so then now, so for first heading, so which color it is applying? Which color is it is applying? So what color we are writing with ID? So for first heading, it will apply this one only, blue color only. Now you can see. Now you can. Okay. So if you can choose this first heading, now if you can see here now. So first ID it will taking. So then after that class it will it is considering. So then after that tag selector is considering. Okay. First ID selector, then class selector, then tag selector. Okay. So that is the meaning. So then, so if you can write the internal CSS for this one, or suppose these things are having internal in sorry inline CSS. So then color is color is mm, black color. Okay. Now see, first it will go. It is going to consider so inline CSS. Now see inline CSS. So then after that ID selector CSS, then after that class selector, then after that tag selector. So this is the process. This is the hierarchy. It is applying the CSS for all the HTML elements. Okay, clear. So the next one is ID selector. So same thing. So remaining thing we can discuss tomorrow. So do you have any doubts up to here? Sami, Radhika, Naveen, and Madhu. So do you have any doubts? So you understood? So you understood or not? Okay. So if you don't have if you don't have any doubts, so then that's well and good. So then fine. Okay. So after completion of two classes, then we are going to start the task. Okay. First you have to understand this selectors. Then after that, so then writing the CSS. So then after that you can start after two classes. Then so we can start the practice. Okay, fine. So then fine, thank you. So we'll connect tomorrow.